Councillor Brownridge? Councillor Brownridge? I haven't seen her on the list yet, so.
Laurie, I think my understanding is they go off the system, do they?
Yeah, we can see the attendance on the side of the screen, so we know if a member is suddenly not invited to the meeting, so we can tell that way.
With participants.
Yeah.
They've also got my email address to advise of any connection difficulties, and my email is open, so I will get those messages.
And the final one would be when it comes to the vote and the member doesn't vote on the matter.
Okay, thanks.
Could I ask a question at that point as well? What would happen if, for some reason, the member was present throughout, but it showed temporarily as them not being present?
Then you're not there for the full discussion of the item.
Well, as in, I'm saying, if I was there and for some reason, I don't know, if there was a problem at somebody at the other end, so you're looking at the participants list and there's a problem at your end, it might show us not being present. How would that be handled?
I think provided when it comes to a vote you are clear that you have been there for the full discussion, then we would accept your vote. Because we can't see you, we can't see if you've moved away or not.
Thank you.
Obviously, there's an element of this that I think we have to do on trust, and I think we'd be quite. I'm sure members are going to treat the system in the best spirit that they possibly can. If I come to the next area as well, that if we have a total system failure, what we will do is we'll adjourn the meeting for a reasonable period. If we can't get a reconnection with people, what will happen is that the meeting will have to be reconvened, adjourned and reconvened at another date. Any public questions that we do have, I will read them rather than the person. The other main item is that at the start of proceedings, the clerk, Laurie, in this particular case, will actually read out a list of members so they can indicate whether they're present. And also in voting, that's the same process, is that when we do come to a vote, Laurie as clerk will read out every member's name, who then will have to say whether what we're voting for or against the particular item, or abstaining from that particular item. The other issue is that if there is a complication with where I as chair need advice, what we would do is just adjourn the meeting for a short period while we try to sort the issue out by phone before we come back. This is usually if there's a legal problem of something of that nature. So what I've read out is the main variances that I particularly see that we would have using this system. There's a couple of issues as well that can be helpful in operating the system. One is that if members aren't speaking, if they actually could turn and go to mute, because during the practice sessions we've had some nice music and various other things that have been a little disruptive, and I think obviously when we go to a proper meeting, we have to really be as professional as possible, because obviously the public will be joining in, and they can join into the meeting. What also we ask is that if members use the chat system to indicate to Laurie that they want to speak, that would be helpful. If you feel as though it's a bit difficult using the chat system, then you would just have to state your name, and I'll bring you in when we possibly can. The only other issue that I raise is that obviously we have speakers both for and against applications, and if those speakers and we lose them, what Laurie's done is got their script, and she will actually carry on and read the script out that they had, either speaking for and against an application. So that's basically all that I have to say. I don't know initially if any officers got anything they'd like to contribute.
Councillor Dean, I've got a question from Councillor Gloucester, and then another one from Councillor Harkness and Councillor Gary.
Right. Councillor Gloucester first, please.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, I'm looking down to see which officers are present, and I don't seem to be able to see which officers are present. So, when we do the sign in at the beginning, are we going to go through the officers then in future?
If you, on the bar where you chat, there's a participants button, which is like two little individuals. It's next to the chat function.
Yeah, I've got that up, Liz.
Yeah, you should be able to see who's attending.
So I presume with no planning officers on this meeting then? Is that where I'm going?
No, Simon.
No,
I'm here.
I'm here.
yeah, yes.
And I'm here.
It's only showing
Yeah.
councillors
Yes,
up on my list. I don't know if that's a setting issue,
If
that we
go
can't
right
all
to the
see.
bottom,
Sorry?
if you go right to the bottom of the list, it should show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 of us present. But we're at the bottom, at least on my sidebar.
Oh, hang on. Because it says more.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
if
on
you click
more.
on more.
Let me click onto it though. All right, leave it with me. I'll have a mess, and if I've not sorted it by the end of the meeting, I'll come back on it. Thank you.
Yeah, no
What
problem.
will happen in my opening words is that I'll indicate that officers are present and which department they're present. I won't name the officers, and what might be helpful is that when officers are contributing, they can state the name before they actually contribute. So that might be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Councillor Hartness.
Yeah, thanks. Just regarding, so we get quite a few sort of messages at times saying that somebody's waiting to join the meeting. Now, a couple of times through these sessions, there's been councillors and I've just let them in or whatever. But during the actual proper meetings and stuff, is there a process? Because we might not necessarily want everybody to come in at certain times. So is there going to be an individual who's going to let anybody in?
Yeah. So there's an individual who will know the telephone numbers and individuals that will join the meeting. So they'll be identified, and they will bring the people in and basically send the people out as required.
Okay, so we'll ignore any requests then. That's okay.
So if you think about it, that you're just participating in that way rather than producing, as they call it with teams, I think. That will all be done by one of the Constitutional Services officers, and that will happen for each meeting.
All right, cheers, thanks.
Councillor Pythian, was it as well?
Councillor Gary and Councillor Williamson have a question.
Councillor Gary. Councillor Gary.
Just a question. I've been invited to the meeting on Wednesday. Do you want me to take part because I am only a sub, or am I coming into the meeting as a sub?
We'll let you know if we need you as a sub. We'll go through the attendees, and if somebody's not going to be there, then we'll be in contact with you as a person to attend the meeting.
Right. Okay, that's fine.
Have we got anybody else that would like to come?
Councillor Williamson has a question.
Councillor Williamson.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to know where everybody's going to be if we've got to be subs as well. There's nowhere for anybody to go. My question was, member of the public. So they come in to the meeting, say they're an objector to an application, and they start kicking off. Who has control of that to stop them? So can we mute them? Can we kick them out? What can we do?
For Wednesday,
Thank you.
For Wednesday, that will be me, and yes, I can mute them and remove them from a meeting.
Thank you very much.
One hopes that won't happen, because obviously the only people that will be speaking are the designated speakers that are actually asked through the usual system to speak. Have we got anybody else that wants to contribute?
Councillor Dean, could I just ask that some members may not be comfortable with the chat function, but could I just ask members to try and just practice while we're on now, just to indicate they wish to speak or whatever. I can see a number of members have used it this evening. It's just going to be the easiest way for people to be brought in, I think.
Yes, certainly members want to try, and Larry will read out if you name.
Councillor Hewitt has a question.
Councillor Hewitt, are we just trying the system?
Sorry, Peter, I heard you on mute. No, I'm just trying the system. I'm not got a question.
That's good. But I must stress, although using chat would be the preferable option and it'd be a better option. If people feel uncomfortable using that technology, and they feel as though they need to speak and want to ask, just please, come in and tell us, and we'll put you in a proper position to be able to contribute.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anybody else with any questions or observations, concerns? Obviously, we're always here afterwards to, or tomorrow to listen to those. What we've tried to, the officers particularly have worked extremely hard trying to do is to cover any particular problems that could arise. There's always something that can come in sideways, of course, and upset the proceedings, but one hopes that most of the things that could become a problem or an issue is actually covered, and they are covered.
Councillor Harkness has a question.
Councillor Harkness.
Oh, I think he's had a response.
It's just been answered. Yeah, that's fine, thanks.
Yeah. Right. Unless somebody else has got anything to contribute, either an officer or a councillor, I think that's more or less all we wanted to cover today, to try to make sure that people possibly understood one or two of the nuances that we will probably face on Wednesday. And we just hope that everything goes smoothly and we can conduct business in a good and proper manner, and people feel satisfied, both applicants and objectors, to any application that we do have.
Councillor Williamson has another question.
Councillor Williamson.
Hiya. When we've done the meeting, am I right in saying that the meeting can be recorded so that we've got a record of it and that it goes on the council website, or have I got my facts wrong?
Yeah, the meeting is being recorded, Councillor Williamson, in a usual but unusual way. So New Image are going to capture the Teams meeting, and that will go out in the usual way as a live broadcast and a recording.
So we're both live and it will be recorded as well?
Yeah.
As I understand it, yeah. Okay, if nobody's got anything to contribute, I'll or ask any more questions, I'll thank people for attending, and we'll see you all on Wednesday. It would be very helpful on Wednesday if people could tune in before 10 to 6, so we can sort of make sure that people are there and we have proper connectivity with them.
And I would just like, when we start the meeting, I want to make sure who the actual members are in the meeting for when I do the roll call, because I won't be doing the whole list. It'll be just those members. There is the committee, and subs is if they're required. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Was somebody else wanting to come in?
Yeah, I was just wondering. I understood we were going to test the WhatsApp link.
We were going to try and adjourn so members can click off their microphones and their cameras while we adjourn for a little while.
Right, okay, so we're adjourning now.
Okay.
Well, a request. Yeah, the question is, this Wednesday, is it a new planning meeting, or is it a replay of, of a practice? And the other question is, when we get the agendas for the meetings, are we getting an hard copy of the meet? You know, like we normally do, or are we getting it on? Are we getting it online? Because I could do with an hard copy, personally.
The answer to the first one. Sorry, what was the first question? Sorry.
Is it a mock-up meeting or is
No,
it a
it's
proper?
not. It's a full planning committee meeting.
Right,
Sorry,
that's
Councillor
good.
Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second question, no, there isn't any hard copies being sent out for the meeting.
And is that not a possibility?
Not really, because it would mean officers going into the building, printing the agendas off, posting them out. We don't know how long. It's difficult. It's a risk, and we have to keep assessing it meeting by meeting.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate risks. Thanks.
I did ask that question last week to see if that could be facilitated, but it's a corporate decision that papers can't go out, staff can't go into the civic centre presently. The other thing that I failed to mention is that, and it's just to confirm for members, is that there will be a planning meeting, and these are definitely proper planning meetings, although they'll be virtual, on this Wednesday the 13th, on the 21st, and also on the 27th. So this month there'll be 3 planning meetings, and it's more than likely there will be one in early June as well. And obviously that is caused by us not having a meeting for some time, and there's been an accumulation of of applications that we really need to consider and get through. So those are the programme meetings that we do have. Laurie, did you want to say something? Laurie, did you want to say something?
Laurie, you're on mute.
Councillor Fithian has a question.
Councillor Fithian?
No, I don't actually have a question. I was just showing you that I could work the chat facility.
Oh, well done. Yet another bag. Right.
Councillor Al-Hamdani has a question.
Yes, it was just to check, because I'm presuming the chat doesn't get recorded. It's only the video output. So anything that actually needs to be actively communicated, presumably that has to be done verbally at the appropriate point. For example,
Yes.
A declaration of interest.
It does. Yeah.
Just making that clear. Thank you.
Councillor Gloucester has a question.
Councillor Gloucester?
Yeah, it was just about the hard copies of the paperwork. I've printed mine off already for Wednesday, and although it's quite chunky, there's no issue with it, so there shouldn't be an issue with the papers.
Yeah, it's just that one or two members don't have printers and have some difficulty. So unfortunately, we just have to live with the position, and as long as people know the position, it's be helpful to them, I'm sure. Okay.
Can I just say, Peter, on that when Laurie emailed me the pack today, I was able to print it off from there. I couldn't print it off the council website, but I could print it off when it was sent as an individual email.
So for backup in future then, shall we ensure that we send that individual PDF to members?
That would be really helpful, Elizabeth.
Yeah, and then you've got access, haven't you?
Yeah, it'd be helpful.
What I was going to do for this week's.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that then for everybody, for each one.
Yeah, I think that would be very, very useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, are we okay now? And I suggest we adjourn the meeting now. We're going to try what phone call?
I left a bit early. I presume everybody's gone now, have they?
No, still me.
Sorry, I signed myself out a bit too soon.
No, I think
Too
we're on an
keen.
adjournment.
And if this was a real thing, Councillor Dean would be away from the camera dealing with whatever advice he was getting, and then when he comes back in front of the camera, the meeting can start again, so we could ask you to unmute your microphones if you wanted to speak.
All right, thank you.
Councillor Dean, you're on mute.
I think we'll have to refine the call.
I think from practice and from Cabinet and watching other authorities and just the way it's going, you will hear Councillor X, you are on mute quite a lot, because naturally we're not used to muting and unmuting ourselves, are we? Unless you've been doing it for quite a while. So those things are going to happen. It's just par for the course. But it's just getting used to that mute, unmute.
Yeah. Okay, what I suggest now is that we close the meeting, and we'll hopefully get everything right for Wednesday evening, and let's hope everything goes well. And I'm sure we'll get as much cooperation from everybody as possible. Okay, so if we close the meeting there.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye. Laurie and Shan.